So hi everyone. So this is a very special episode, and I've been joined by a parent. So Miss Sonia Khurana has joined us, and she's a parent of a gamer, and she would love to know about the gaming industry. And me, being a gamer, I will try and answer her questions as genuinely and as authentically as possible. So how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And thank you for having me on this platform. I have very grilling questions to ask you all because, yes, I have a son who is very much into gaming, and he has been into gaming since he was a little kid. And now he's kind of grown up, but still wants to seriously get into gaming. So I'd definitely like to know more about it. So, Kartikeya, can you tell me what exactly is, I mean, you're talking about esports, right? So
Yeah.
what exactly is esports? Is it just playing games or what?
So esports, it translates, it's an abbreviation. The full form is electronic sports. So whatever sports you see in person in on TV, it's just like an electronic version of the same thing. And people go in, they participate in tournaments, and it's just the comfort of sitting at your home and having a controller on or probably playing with a keyboard and just like putting it all on the line and making your name up. It's just a digitalized version of the actual sports you see on TV, but it's not just related to sports. It translates to other titles as well. It could be any action game. It could be any other racing game. So I'm sure a lot of parents have this concern and have these doubts that what exactly is esports, and
Yeah.
how it can make it, is it viable for my kid. So I'm sure after this episode you would have much better clarity, as this could be a viable thing and something sustainable, and it's a unique industry. A lot of
Mhm.
people are coming in, and it is actually predicted to be bigger than cricket. So imagine, like
Okay.
10 years back, people were putting their children into cricket academies so that they can one day see their kid making it live on the big stage, and being playing with the likes of Sachin and IPL. But now, I mean, the foundation has been laid down, the pedestal has been laid down, and
Yeah.
I'm looking at a possibility that you could see your son on TV playing a video game, and yeah, we're here to make that happen.
But my next question would be, what is the kind of future, not having a gender bias? I'm sure this would be for girls as well as for boys, right?
Yep.
So, what kind of a future does esports have for my child, and how do they earn out of it, earn money out of this?
So there are various verticals. So the biggest one and the main one, which constitutes of esports, is the playing one, the one where you're actually a player. So there are tournaments which are happening for prize pools. It could be like 10 lakh rupees, more than that. So basically, a person enters with a ticket, and they compete
Okay.
against other people who also buy that same ticket and enter into that tournament. And the winner
Mhm.
of that tournament, like it could be top four and top three, get rewarded with the prize pool. So let's say if the prize pool is about 10 lakhs, the winner would get 7 lakhs. The second person who finishes would get like 3 lakhs. So that's how people make money in terms of competing, and it's just a battle of their skill. And apart
Mhm.
from that, once you make it big, because it is becoming a spectator sport. It has already become a spectator sport in Europe, but in India it's catching up. And I mean, in the Southeast Asia, it's catching up, and it will be really huge soon. So when it's being broadcasted on YouTube and Twitch, there are a lot of companies who are closely following the players, and they try and get their brands involved. They sign these players, and they give them money. You actually
Okay.
get paid to participate in those tournaments. And how these companies make the money is they have a certain contract. So let's say you're signed by the esports team, and
Hmm.
they're like, okay, you play in this tournament, we'll sponsor you, we'll give you all the expenses for your travel if you have to go somewhere else, and we'll give you all the equipment that you need, and you participate, and if you win, you'll give a certain cut from that amount to us. So that's how the companies make money. But for the player, it's just a lot of financial support. It could be a salary by the esports team. It could be on the content side of things, because when you stream yourself and you put your face out there, sitting in front of a camera and playing a game. You're being watched by millions. And if you're on a broadcasting platform like Twitch and YouTube, you can make money out of it too. So endless
Okay.
possibilities, and this is primarily as a player. But if we explore more, there are other opportunities. So you can, just like any other company in the corporate side of things, there is
Hmm.
marketing, there is HR, there is sales. The same
Hmm.
translates for esports.
My next question, because you'd also mentioned salaries, and then you've mentioned that you can do like finance, marketing. I'm a finance person.
Okay.
I work in the financial industry, so I would like to know what kind of jobs are there in the industry.
So in esports, I
Hmm.
mean, if you're talking about the corporate side of things, if you want to have a
Yeah.
professional structure around it, except for being a player, then you can be the marketing head. Could be something like the company could be into organizing events. The company
Hmm.
could be into creating content which is around esports. So
Hmm.
it's very diverse.
Then
Yeah.
how stable is it as a career choice? I mean, what kind of returns would a player have?
So let's say, so there's a player called Sahil Arora. So there's a very famous game called Dota 2,
Okay.
and if you compare it with the age-old traditions in the Indian mindset, going as compared to being an engineer or becoming doctor.
Yeah.
So
True.
Sahil in a
Hmm.
tournament in a year earns more than what a doctor would earn, or more than what an engineer would earn. I'm talking about six figures. And all this
Seriously?
all this revenue, yeah, it comes from cash prizes when you win those tournaments, salaries which you get paid, streaming rights, and yeah, I mean, tickets, merchandising. So these are not just players, they
Wow.
are celebrities. So if you actually go and see them, they're actually surrounded by people who are waiting for their autographs, and people want to become like them. I mean, it's an inspiration for them.
Seriously?
Yeah,
Like
so
really?
I was a professional player at once. I've kind of left it on the sides now. I'm more into the managing side of things. But there was a time even I was making enough money that I didn't have to, go for a proper 9 to 5 job. And honestly, who wants to go for a proper 9 to 5 job when you can make money by the click of a button playing games? So that's the sort of a
Hmm.
explanation
I,
I can give you.
I'm understanding. I'm adapting
Yeah.
to this, thing, and I'm understanding because my son used to be, when he was in school, he used to be called the gadget guru of his school.
Okay.
He was always ahead in class where computers were concerned. And his teacher would always tell me that I'm taking help from him to teach
Yeah.
the other class as an assistant because he was already ahead. So I understand that now. But then
Yeah.
how stable is it as a career, at a career choice? And I mean, returns you're telling me now,
Yeah.
yes. But
Yeah.
how stable is it as a career choice?
So it's not something which would have a safe backing. It's
Hmm.
again like becoming an actor. Millions try, but only a certain chunk actually get to that level. So it is always a risk, because once you start out, you're funded by your parents, you're funded by your own money. You don't have a team, so you literally have to make your way up from the ground up. And there will always be a risk, because if, let's say, if there are 500 players competing in a tournament, uh, I mean, out of them, only like 5% of them would be making something out of that. The rest of them would not be making anything, and it's just an investment for them. So stability, it's more down to your skill. It's not everyone becomes an esports professional. Not everyone is able to make it that big. But if you're willing to grind out those hours, because um, this is not something just like playing games and
Hmm.
casually just playing games for hours. It's a very dedicated and a pre-planned effort that it's like a schedule. I have to play like 6 hours, 7 hours a day.
Hmm.
And it's a constant grind. You need to market yourself, you need to approach brands, team should be there, and just just be there. So stability wise, if you're willing to put it all on the line, yeah, you can make it big, but there is always a risk that you might not be, just like any other
Okay,
field.
after stability, Kartikeya, tell me about sustainability. Is it a sustainable career? Sorry, my throat is going bad.
That's fine. So a lot of big companies
Good thing
are.
is I won't, if it's COVID, I won't pass it on through the computer.
Don't worry, I've already got it, so
No,
I
no,
won't
no.
be getting it. I
No,
won't be getting it
we've all
anytime
gone
soon.
through it. We've all gone through it. Don't worry.
So
But
yeah,
just
as yeah, that reminds me that with COVID, since everything was digitalized, it is becoming more relevant because you can't go out, and you can just like sit at the comfort of your home, play, stream. And sustainability wise, a lot of companies like ESPN, ABC, they're getting into it, and it's slowly reaching to that level. Probably in Europe, yeah, if you're good enough, you can make a entire living out of it. But in India and in the Southeast Asian market mainly, it's uh, I think only 10% do make a living out of it. The rest of them are getting there. So which is why we as a platform, Viggify, we're trying to get them into the habit of we're creating an educational system around esports, and we want to educate
okay.
that people can. It's a skill which can be learned. It's not something you're born with. It's a skill which can be nourished, and with the right support, we genuinely believe that this could be the next big thing.
So how does Kartikeya, how does an esports player work exactly? I mean, how do they work?
So it starts off. I mean, as an example, looking at your own son, he started off as a gamer. He's heavily into games. So I think by the age of 5 or 6, the person develops an interest that, some people are into art, some people are into drawing, dance, some people are into gaming. So it starts off at a very young age. You get on it, you tend to, play more and more and more. And then once you actually think, because initially, you go to your friend's place and you're able to beat them, there's a lot of banter in between you. And then you think, okay, um, maybe I can take this up. Maybe this could be something which I can make a living out of. So then you look for tournaments which are happening in your region. You go there, you
Okay.
participate, you pay them an entry fee, and you try and make your name up. So obviously, as you go to the first tournament, it's very unlikely that you will win, but you'll get to meet a lot of similar minded people who are there. And once you keep on going back to these tournaments, you'll slowly make your progress up.
Mm,
And also at the same time, it's very crucial to have a social media following, social media fan accounts.
mm.
So if you do make your progress, then you put it up on social media that I participated into these tournaments, and I let's say I secured the top 16 spot. So you keep on going, and the routine is that you try and get better every tournament you play in. And once you get to the top chunk, let's say top 4 or top 6, you start to get recognized by esports teams and brands, and they will approach you, and they will provide you with all the support that you need. And that's how you make your name up.
What is the security that they can expect in all this? I mean, what is the security they can expect?
So security, at the beginning, nothing. You just got to put it
Okay.
all on the line. There is no security. It's just like becoming an actor, right? A lot of people go to Mumbai with nothing in their hands, and some of them
You
make
know,
it big. Some,
yeah, you basically, it's just that your skill, is it?
yeah, it's just like becoming a sports person. It's entirely dependent on your skill and how you market yourself. If you want to become a content creator, then it's different, but mostly it's your skill. So
I think a
yeah.
lot of people go through hardships, like you said, if they want to become an actor or something. Now, my question would be like, okay, what is the personal, except your hand skill, I think. What is the personal skill that a child would develop here?
So I think
Can he
we
develop a personal, I mean, what are the skills that the child would develop? Let's put it this way.
so a lot of people, we as an industry, we get a lot of backlash saying esports is not an actual sport because you're just sitting on your lazy ass and you're doing nothing. So it is more of a mental strain which is there. It is more of a mental effort. In terms of the physical skill, you develop your hand-eye coordination, because you're not looking at the controller while you're playing. You're looking at the screen, so you know which button to press without looking at it. So hand-eye coordination is something which really helps, and that helps a lot in driving too. But apart from that, if you talk about personal skills, you're exploring a new field, you're getting there, you're slowly, you're starting from the ground up. So firstly, it teaches you humility because you're nothing, you're nobody. You slowly make your name up. You have a team around. So esports, it can be divided into team sport or solo sport. So it could be, two people playing against two people, four people playing against four people, or it could be just, one person facing against, one person solo. So if you're part of a team sport, then it definitely teaches you teamwork, because obviously you would not match personalities with everyone who's in your team. You have to make that sacrifice, you have to make that compromise. So chemistry is there, teamwork is there, a lot of communication, and just taking that skill, from the ground and becoming something out of it. It really inspires a lot of people. It really gives you that confidence that you made something out of yourself. So yeah.
My concern here, Kartikeya, which is off the ground, I mean, off the beat, is could a child also develop a lot of aggression if they're playing alone?
I don't think
Think
so.
so. I
That's
mean,
Yeah.
huh?
I don't
I mean,
think so.
just a
Sorry.
concern. It's a concern. As a parent, it's a concern. Like, how will it? I mean, yeah, but let's say that maybe if one to one, what I mean. The games are such. I don't know what kind of games you would probably esports will be developing. My next question would be like, how will it affect my child's education, schooling, college? How does it affect that?
So just like in the movies, right? There are violent movies.
Yeah.
So
And
there
we
are
try and
ratings.
avoid our child to see them.
So there are ratings. Obviously, in gaming, every game has a rating. It has an age filter saying, if you're above 13 plus, then only you can play this game. Obviously,
Yeah,
you can
okay.
go and get that disc by other means, but I think it's the parents' responsibility there to ensure that their child is playing those games which are under the age bracket, which are within the age bracket. In particular, I don't think esports, all these violent games, do cause real violence. I don't believe so. But it's just a matter of how you take it. Child is brought up. If he's brought up in a nice environment, I
Hmm.
don't think these games lead to violence. And uh, obviously, there are 18 plus games, and when you've reached that level, I think you're sane enough, and the kid is sane enough that he can make his own decisions. And in terms of coming back to your point of how will it affect your child's schooling and college,
Yeah.
it it might actually lead to a better. It might actually lead him to become a more holistic individual, because you're part of a team, you're picking something up, it's a skill that you're nourishing. You get to meet so many people, and while gaming is a thing which you don't do alone, you play it with your friends, you play it online, you talk, you communicate.
Hmm.
So it
Hmm.
builds a lot of social skills too, which, as compared to your child is just sitting at home and just studying, I don't think it will be as beneficial. This is not to say that you should take education for granted, because a lot of
Yeah,
players
okay.
who make it big in esports, even they are educated. It's not something that you can leave everything behind.
I
And
hope not. I hope not that the kids feel because they've started earning
yeah,
here, they should kind of give up on their education because they're bringing the money home.
yeah.
That's a bit of a concern. Yeah.
So I mean, academically, I think these two things, you should always have a balance in life. It could be esports, it could be anywhere. So this is not to say that, and this is not to mislead people that you can just jump into esports. It is the best thing ever. You don't have to go to school. You don't have to study. So
Okay.
having that balance is necessary. And who knows, I mean, your kid becomes quite sociable. He interacts with a lot of players, and the interaction is not just limited to within the region. You get to
Hmm.
meet so many people all over the world. And
Yeah.
as a personal experience, when I was probably 13, my my social skills were quite good, because I was talking to people from the US, from the UK. I was playing with them. And I mean, I honestly made more friends playing online than I would do and go and actually
At school.
Yeah.
Yeah, my next question was this only. What would a child's lifestyle be, and how difficult is the work environment here, or what would be the child's lifestyle if somebody, seriously gets into esports? Like a child gets into esports seriously and says, okay, I want this as a career, then what would his lifestyle be? How difficult is the work environment?
So it's again, it's solely dependent on skill and how you nourish it. But it's not that, you put in more hours, you'll get more results. It's just like
Okay.
more than hard work, it's smart work. Because, I see it as having different spheres in life. You have your social life, you have a personal life, and you have your career. So, I mean, you need to balance all these things, collectively out, because even if one of them fails, you at least have, the two other spheres to rely upon. So if you're going to school, do what you do at the present, just focus on school. Once you get back home, have a schedule, that, okay, I'm going to be playing this, I'm going to be winding up my school work or school homework within those 2 hours. Because you can't expect a child to, come back and just be focused on school. It is a hobby which can turn into passion. So, a lot of kids go to football training, a lot of kids go to swimming. So it's just like a replacement. So
Mhm.
it's a hobby which you can take up, you can nourish it, but it's not something that, you leave everything behind and go for it. Because even though we are trying to make it sustainable, and it is becoming, it's not something which you should simply take a plunge in. At least have that backup. And, I mean, as a parent, you would know, you wouldn't want your child to, risk it all. So it's better to have that backup. And
Yeah,
being
it
a
is.
being a professional gamer, so I, at one point of time, my sole income was from esports. And it was at a time when I was in college. And in college, I was doing my bachelor's from Delhi University. A lot of studies, lot of work around that, but I managed it well. And I think that was the reason where I was able to succeed at it. I succeeded at both. I did get a good education, I did get good at esports. My parents were happy. And
Okay.
initially, when I started off, they were not happy because I was putting in a lot of hours. But then I have to back it up, because, in I mean, this is more like an Indian mindset. Again, their concern was, what is the output? You're not getting anything. So then, to back it up, I practiced more, even balancing my education out. And it got to the point where I was given an opportunity to represent India at an international competition.
Wow.
So I represented India in 2017 at a FIFA gaming competition. And I ended up becoming the first ever Indian to win an international FIFA competition.
Brilliant. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
So the same parents who were against, esports, they were like,
Hmm.
You might as well keep at it." Because I was getting a lot of coverage, a lot of newspapers, the Indian Express, Times of India, they were approaching me for interviews and all that, that I think that really made my parents proud. So
Okay.
I say it as, you need to back it up, because, you're doing something, it's a new thing, you need to tell your parents about it. They'll be investing so much. So if you're not giving them something to, say, okay, I've achieved this, then they're like, okay. That was the time when I finally got like my full-fledged support from my parents, that, okay, your exams are important, but I think this is more important. Don't check out your exams, but I think this could be something big. So just have a balance. And yeah, keep
and I'm
keeping, yeah.
and I hope that esports will be teaching this to the kids, educating, like you said it before. You will be educating. So
Yeah.
obviously, you will include all these points in your line of education to the kids, so that they don't. Because I, as a parent, have concerns, and I've understood Karthik. Really, honestly, I've understood Karthik, but I'm not sure that you have age barriers here, or you have gender bias here, or not, or whatever. How a younger kid would understand, as in
Hmm,
today's different world, different. I mean, if you're taking it
hmm,
globally,
hmm,
then a person's understanding in India would be different from a person's understanding in UK or in
hmm,
US. I've,
hmm.
I've in fact, talking to you,
Yeah.
I'm actually very happy talking to you, because you've, kind of given rest to a lot of my concerns.
Yep.
And you've convinced me to gift my son latest PlayStation because he wants that, and I've been stalling it for
Yep.
a long time.
Yep.
Thinking that what will you do with it? Like, you've got one already and you want another one,
Yep.
but you've kind
Yep.
of convinced me to buy him the latest one, kind of.
Yep.
So that's quite nice, and I'm happy to talk to a young person like you, because um, as a parent, you've convinced me. And if you
Yep.
talk to the younger generation who are actually going to see it as a career choice,
Yep.
I'm sure you'll be able to do a good job. So
Yep.
thank you, my dear. Thank you so much for
Yep.
talking to me,
Absolutely.
for addressing all my concerns. And I'm happy talking to you. Thank you so much.
Yep. And just to come back to your concern of, the gender bias
Yeah.
and the age, the minimum age to
Yeah.
compete in these tournaments would be about 16 to 17.
Okay.
So,
That's good enough. That's good
yep.
enough.
And even at 16, if you're getting paid, if you're competing, then you would need your parents' consent,
Okay.
because I think the money would get transferred to the parents' bank account, and I'm sure
Okay.
any parent would be happy to receive that money if the kid is going out there and
Okay, I'm a finance person. Talk to me money.
so, and talking about the gender bias, there are a lot of female gamers out there who so it was a myth. It was of that mindset that this is something which is solely male dominant. And if you look at the numbers, it is. But this is not to say that female gamers and girl gamers cannot make it big. I know girls in India who are kicking it out of guys. They're beating them. They're making so much money. They're making a name out of themselves. And again, it's I don't think it's a very gender specific field. I think people have made it to be, but I mean, it's nothing to do with gender. It's just about your passion and how many hours you put in and what you want to
I've seen
achieve.
a few I've seen a few videos, Kartikeya, from
Yep.
US, where they've been impacting videos, influencers videos,
Yep.
where they've given guys and girls basically playing games and earning money along
Yep.
with going to university. So I understand that better now.
Yep.
Thank you. Lovely talking to you.
Yep.
Thank you
So,
so much for addressing my concerns.
and yeah, hopefully we would have on the next episode, we would have another parent, and maybe instead of me, you can tell them much better, and you can convince them more.
Seriously. Okay.
So
But
thanks.
yeah,
Thank you so much
thank
for
you.
joining in. And I hope, we can make this quite sustainable, and we can educate a lot of people who have myths that,
Yeah.
this could not be a viable thing. And yeah, take it from there.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
absolutely. That's important. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you,
Pleasure
my
to have
dear.
you, Sumant.
All right.